Hey everyone, I just spent the last 2 weeks in Japan, going from Tokyo to Kyoto, Osaka, then back to Kyoto, then back to Tokyo. And today, I'll be showing you everything that I brought with me on my trip, including my travel bags, tech essentials, clothing items, and more. And this video is sponsored by Lifen with their Wave toothbrush, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so I brought 3 bags with me on this trip. I have this vintage Oakley carry-on suitcase, this Oakley duffel bag, and this Carhart mini sling bag. So first up, in the Oakley Luggage, I packed all of my clothes in these packing cubes that I bought off Amazon. Now, when I went, it was fairly hot out, but still with some cooler days mixed in, so I had to pack kind of accordingly and bring a bunch of stuff with me. I brought a pair of pants, as well as a few pairs of shorts, and a bunch of t-shirts that I'd be wearing throughout the week, and a sweater as well. I didn't want to bring too many things with me, but just enough clothing to last throughout at least a full week, and then wash all the clothes at a laundromat or at my hostel. I also knew I was going to bring stuff back, so I didn't want to bring too much there. But one of the first things that I bought when I got to Japan was this mini vacuum sealer plus some vacuum seal bags, so pretty much I could toss a bunch of clothes in that I bought, or even the clothes that I brought with me, and suck all the air out with the vacuum sealer so it fits better in my luggage. And that's how I was able to really easily repack and also introduce new clothes into my luggage. I bought this Oakley suitcase from the early 2000s off Marketplace a few weeks ago, and it has all of the best things about classic Oakley. And if you didn't know, I'm a pretty big fan of Oakley. I love all their designs. I love kind of their like post-apocalyptic but also futuristic sort of design language, and I have a lot of their products. But this bag is beautiful. It has these metal clips in the front with this front compartment where you can store a few things. It has a little zipper pocket, and there's plenty of hidden storage compartments all throughout, plenty of space inside. It's incredibly well built and also has these massive wheels that can go over any terrain, and just the whole design, I love it. So this suitcase is pretty much just for my clothes, as well as having enough space inside to bring a few things home with me. And the next bag is my Oakley duffel bag from the early 2000s as well. It looks super rugged, has so many compartments for storage, and I also just love the design of this bag as well. And in this bag I have all my other items as well as my tech essentials. So I have this Baggu padded sleeve which has my 2021 MacBook Pro M1 Max model, as well as my 2024 iPad mini. This MacBook is an absolute beast still to this day, and it's gone with me all around the world. I've used it for so many different projects, and I couldn't live without this laptop. And my iPad mini, which is my perfect go-to flight companion. This is the 2024 model with the Apple Pencil, and it really is the perfect device to fly with and watch content while traveling. I ended up watching like so many different shows like The Penguin, Silo, Three Body Problem. All of those are incredible shows and kept me entertained during my flight when I wasn't sleeping. And on the plane I wanted to be completely isolated with no distractions whatsoever, so I brought along the 2024 AirPod Maxes in the black colorway, which are pretty much the exact same as the previous generation, but this time they have USB-C, which just makes them a little bit easier to charge up, especially because all my other devices are USB-C as well. And speaking of charging, I brought along this really handy travel bag from Muji, which has all of my charging accessories inside in 3 different compartments. And the main compartment is actually removable as well. To charge up all my devices, I have this Satechi 108 watt charger, which I've been using forever, and it's still my absolute favorite go-to charger. It has 3 USB-C ports and fold-out prongs, so I can get a lot more compact, and one of the best things about Japan, amongst many other things, is that it has kind of the same AC plug system as the US and Canada, so no adapters needed. This is all I needed to charge up all of my devices. And to charge up my mobile devices, I brought along this Anker UFO folding charger, which has these charging pads for the iPhone with MagSafe, Apple Watch, and AirPods, as well as this native Union version, which has charging pads for the Apple Watch and iPhone as well. And I also brought along these retractable cables that pull out to create a decently long cable and retract into a much more small form to plug into the wireless chargers. I also had this Charge 20,000 mAh battery that is airplane safe and charges up to 100 watts on the single port and 140 watts on both ports total. Now, as I mentioned, I brought along my iPhone and my Apple Watch. My phone is the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and it was amazing for all of my travels with great battery life, using my Suica card, mapping, as well as taking a bunch of photos and videos. It was a super reliable camera, and I got a lot of amazing shots. and my Apple Watch Series 10. I haven't worn an Apple Watch consistently in many years now, so switching back to this was definitely a transition, but honestly, I love wearing my Apple Watch every single day. It was great for getting notifications on the go, and also using the new gestures available were very useful if my hands were full, and also being able to keep track of all my steps every single day, which I was doing about 20,000 minimum per day, was really cool to see and keep track of on the watch. Also in this bag, I had enough room to put my bathroom bag, which has a bunch of my bathroom essentials, and of course, my toothbrush, which is from today's sponsor, Lifen. This is the Lifen Wave, which is the most beautiful and aesthetically pleasing toothbrush I've ever seen. It's definitely very unique and honestly reminds me of an Apple product. From the unboxing to the design and the whole experience, it's very Apple-like. And I know, it's a toothbrush, but it fits perfectly with my aesthetic. It has a really smooth and seamless design, and as you can see, there are no gaps around the power button, which is a really nice touch. It just prevents water from getting in during daily use. You can also really see how much nicer and more premium this toothbrush looks, especially versus my older toothbrush. It's night and day. It's clear the designers were inspired by other tech products, especially with their proprietary servo system, which introduces technology previously only used in robotic arms. Super cool. On top of that, the toothbrush is the world's first electric toothbrush capable of both vibrating and oscillating. It oscillates up to 60 degrees, so basically it covers a wider area in your mouth, which results in just a better cleaning and a fresher feeling. Now, compared to other electric toothbrushes, Lifen just absolutely soars in comparison. It's gentle on your mouth while maintaining cleanliness, and is better able to protect your gums without sacrificing on cleaning power. To really demonstrate its power and exceptional cleaning and brushing efficiency, here's how the Lifen Wave compares to my old electric toothbrush. It's quite the difference. Now, as I mentioned, I brought this with me on my trip, and there were actually several features which I actually found quite useful during my travels. It charges magnetically with this really cool charger to full capacity within 2.5 hours. It has a customizable app that lets me adjust the toothbrush with 3 different settings at 10 different levels while accommodating my brushing habits. And being able to control the vibration strength, oscillation range, and oscillation allows for over 1,000 different combinations to meet the exact needs of your teeth and get a perfect clean every time. The app also has a brushing timer and zone change reminder that helps keep me on track while brushing. And the brush also has a special travel mode which keeps the toothbrush fully deactivated when you turn on the mode, because nobody wants a vibrating bag at the airport. So that's the Lifen Wave. It was perfect for me every day brushing during my travels, and it's also been perfect for me at home as well. If you want to get one for yourself, and they come in so many different colors and finishes to choose from, search Lifen on Google or Amazon to get up to 40% off their Black Friday sales, or hit the link in the description down below. And now, back to the tour. The other final bag I brought with me was this Carhart mini sling bag, which was perfect to bring along all of my daily essentials. It also fits my iPad mini perfectly inside if I had to bring that with me. It really is a great sized bag with 2 large main compartments and a lot of small sections throughout the bag to store smaller items. I also brought along my wallet, which as you can guess is another vintage Oakley piece. This one's all metal and has space for all of my cards inside. I also brought along a compact 2-port Nomad GAN charger which charges up to 65 watts, enough to charge up my 14-inch MacBook Pro and my iPhone, of course. And in addition to this main Carhart bag, I also have 2 more bags inside. These are from a brand called Shupato, and these are basically tote bags that fold up into really small form factors. Smaller than the more common brand Bagu, these get even smaller, but they also fold out into these really massive bags, and they're great for carrying around groceries or stuff that I pick up during my days out and about in Japan. Okay, so that's everything I brought with me on this trip, but now let's talk about the trip itself and what Japan was actually like at this time of year. Japan is an incredible place, and this time I had the chance to go to even more places than the last time I went, and also stayed for a lot longer this time. I had the chance to spend time in the city, in much more peaceful areas, and really explore. And Japan is an incredibly busy place. There are people everywhere doing so many different things, but everyone moves in a very organized flow, making it easy to get around on the subway or even just by walking. Tokyo is a massive city, and they really have everything. Elements of peace and nature, as well as of course the busy city center areas. Kyoto is the perfect blend of tradition and modernity. There are places with traditional architecture, temples, and nature, along with bustling city center areas filled with shops, tourists, and in some ways, even more chaos than Tokyo. But it still has plenty of lovely places to visit and escape to. Very surprisingly, Osaka became one of my favorite places to visit. I discovered some amazing vintage stores where I found some really cool things, along with beautiful, unique architecture. The main city center had water flowing through it with boats cruising down these canals, floating alongside massive architectural additions to buildings, and I've never seen anything like it. It was incredible. It was very busy, but there was so much exciting stuff to see. And being vegetarian, I did have kind of a hard time finding food in some places, but I actually managed to eat really well. On the days where I couldn't find a restaurant, 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson came really in handy. Overall, this trip was very inspiring and eye-opening. It was something I really needed after months and months of work at home without vacation, and being able to actually see more of Japan and be inspired by its architecture, design, and people was an incredible time, and I'll definitely be back. So that was my trip to Japan, and it really was an amazing time that I'll never forget. And to make sure I never forget, I brought a few things home. Okay, so first up, I have this vacuum seal bag full of clothes. I got this shirt from like this American style diner called Jennifer 7. This is for another restaurant called Lucky Alexander China, and I just love the design of this shirt, so wanted to grab one. I got this shirt here. It's very simple, but I just love the design on this one. I got this shirt from a vintage store called Portration, which is probably my favorite vintage designer store ever. Has like all of my favorite brands. The whole store itself is beautiful. I was a really big fan of this store, and I'm glad I found that piece. Another shirt here, I got this one from a store called Jazzy Sport. It's a vinyl store. They have a few of them all throughout Japan, but I really just love the design on this one. It's a perfect t-shirt. And finally here, I got this knitted sweater from a brand called GU or GU, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's kind of like the sister brand of Uniqlo, which has a more alternative, sort of more street style fashion aesthetic. Okay, next up, another Oakley piece. I got these Oakley T-wire glasses. These are some beautiful titanium sunglasses. I got a really good deal on these. I love just how thin and light they are. These are so sick. Okay, next up, while I was in Kyoto, I ended up actually going a bit outside the city to this kind of like vintage flea market situation. Didn't really buy any clothes, but I did buy this vintage furniture mid-century modern book, which has these really beautiful illustrations inside and like a catalog of vintage furniture. Like, this is beautiful. I got this really cool Seiko clock, which I'm gonna definitely add to the studio or put on the wall somewhere. Love the look of this clock. Japan has amazing public transit, like so good they actually have merch stores because people love the transit so much. I bought this Suica metal tin, and I also got like a little subway train plush. I bought a few of those Shupato bags I was telling you about. These are really compact bags. They unfold to be massive bags. It's really impressive. I got this little Yamato transport truck that transforms into a robot. It's really cool. I like this. I picked this up in my favorite vintage store in probably all of Japan. They had the most incredible selection of everything from like old watches, early 2000s watches, a bunch of clothing, toys, action figures, lighters, old cameras. Like, this store was just absolutely incredible, and I definitely want to go back and spend like a whole day just exploring in there. I also went to so many different gashapon places and bought so many different little mini models. I got a whole bunch of these Audio-Technica Soundburger models, which I love. Some little bottles and food items. I got so many different pieces. I don't even know where half of them went, but you can see some of the items I got here. I also got these little phone models. I got a few toy cars. I got these mini Tamagotchi rings, which are so detailed, they're crazy. While I was in Kyoto, I just had to stop at the Miffy Bakery, so I grabbed this kind of exclusive Miffy bun coin pouch thing. I got this metal tray from Muji. I'm not really sure I'm gonna use it for just yet, but it's quite nice. I also got this from Muji, which is like a nice metal pen case. I'm gonna use this at home for all of my pens and pencils. I also bought a whole bunch of these nose mint menthol inhalers, which pretty much you put them in your nose, you breathe in, and it clears up congestion. And I really have the worst allergies all year, and I have pretty bad congestion, and this definitely clears everything up. I'm also someone who runs really warm. I'm always hot, I'm always sweating, and Japan does get really, really hot in the summer. So of course they've innovated and actually made some really good cooling products. I got this neck ice cooler. This is by far the best thing that I bought in Japan. It's a cooling spray that you just spray on yourself, spray it all over yourself, and it really just cools you down. It has like menthol or something in it, and it really drops your temperature. I think this one drops your temperature by 5 degrees Celsius, but it does really work. I also bought these cooling products as well, and also this one by Nose Mint, which you basically just unscrew the cap and you just kind of like rub it all over yourself, and it's the same kind of deal. It just cools you down with a really nice, refreshing sensation. Japan is so far ahead of everyone else. And that's pretty much it. So let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on this style of video, if I should do more like this, take you guys with me on more of my trips. Let me know. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe, and thank you for watching.